Greetings from London. My name is Anna Bermani. I am the Student Affairs and Internship Coordinator here in London for CIS Abroad. As some of you may know, we're hosting an Instagram Live tonight, actually this afternoon for you guys. And we're gonna talk about internships in London. We're gonna talk about fields and what you should expect about an internship in London and so on. But if you bear with me 1 second, I am going to add one of my colleagues to this Instagram Live so that we can have a chat all together.
Hey, here she is. Hey, Anna.
There I am. Sorry, that took a little bit. Okay, yay, it's working. We're here. I'm so happy. Thank you for starting this, Anna.
Sure.
Everyone who's watching, welcome to the special edition of Instagram Live via CIS Abroad. We're having an internship edition today, talking to, just kind of trying to position myself here, talking to Anna Bermani, who is the internship coordinator on site in London. So if you are interested in interning in London, feel free to comment with any of your questions below. I'll be keeping an eye on the questions. We also have some really great questions that came in already that I'm going to be asking Anna, and we really hope you enjoy. So, Anna, welcome again. Thank you for doing this with me. So tell me a little bit about yourself. So you are the one who sources all of the internships for London, right?
That's very correct. I have my hands on everything, all aspects of the internship program in London. So I basically, once we receive an application, once it has gone through the advising team and it lands on my desk, then at that point I interview the student to get a better idea of what they want, what they're looking for in an internship here in London, their goals for the program, their interest, and so on. And then after that, I start the matching process, which basically means that I go out there and look for a suitable placement for our interns. So that's the first part. Then I help our students apply for the sponsorship application. Some of you may know that you need a visa in order to intern here in the UK, so we'll help you with that. You don't need to worry about anything. And then we'll also support you once you receive your sponsorship and you can apply for the visa. And that's the pre-departure part. And then I also am heavily involved, obviously, with the program once you guys are on site. So from the very first moment that you step on this country, you step foot on this country, I'll come and pick you up from the airport. I'll take you to your housing, help you check in. We'll do local area walking tour, an orientation, a welcome lunch. So there's a lot, especially in the first few days. And then there will be several check-ins after the first week of your internship, during the midpoint of halfway through the program, and towards the end, and lots of activities as part of the social program. Oh my gosh, there's so much. But yeah, so you will see me, 100% you will see me a lot, pre-departure and also once you get on site.
And so do you interview every single one of our London applicants for an internship?
I interview every single student. We go over a few questions that I have on my list, and then I also add a few questions here and there just to get a better idea of what the students want. So as we go through the interview, after that I explain a little bit, give some extra information about the program, so to get a better idea, to sort of give a better idea to students of what they should expect. And then I also take, let's say, 10 to 15 minutes to go over the student's resume. So I go over the resume, see if there's anything that we need to improve, change, especially if I have an internship in mind already for the person. because obviously I went through all the information before the interview. Then I may just ask the intern to change a few things to match the type of company that I will be contacting on their behalf. So yeah, it will be a good interview with a lot of things to work on, lots of questions and things to work on.
And do students ever does it depend on the placement if they get interviewed by the actual like company that you might be looking at for them, or do you usually interview on the company's behalf?
So the interview that I do is the one prior to starting the matching process. So prior to actually contacting the host companies, because I really need to know what the students are looking for, so that once I have all the information, I address some certain companies rather than others. And once a supervisor shows some interest in the profile, the student's profile, then at that point, the supervisor has the choice to either request a Skype interview with our student, or to simply just confirm the placement right away. We often have a supervisor that just by looking at all the information that we share, they're like, wow, this person is perfect. I'll just confirm the placement. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, excellent. Okay, cool. So speaking of placements, we actually have a really good question from the comments. Someone asks, how do summer internships compare to semester internships, besides the time factor? So besides like how long you can intern?
Okay, are we talking about, summer internships compared to the semester? Fair enough. Then the summer, the time is a great factor actually, because during the summer our students intern only 8 weeks, whereas during the fall and the spring we have the 8-week option still, but also the 12-week option. Right. And from my point of view, the longer you intern, the better, especially for our companies. They prefer way more having an intern for at least 3 months. So that's a huge factor. And then I wouldn't say there are any major differences, because what we deliver during the summer is also what you receive during the semester. The only difference that I can mention is regarding the accommodation. So during the summer, we work with student housing, and we basically have our students stay in a student housing in Camden Town, which is a fun, young, and sort of a hipster kind of neighborhood. Students love it. And then, whereas during the spring and the fall, we work with a different housing provider, and our students stay, basically share apartments. Right. So it's a slightly different setup, but that's I would say that's the only difference.
Right. Because our internships are so customized, we try really hard to make the time frame that you want to go flexible, so that you can go during the time frame that you want to go. I would agree with you. I think longer is better for sure. I mean, not just because being abroad for longer is just great, but also because you get to spend more time, actually delving into the work of your internship. That makes total sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the actual fields that we have in London. I remember when we talked about this during our practice session that you said, workplace culture is really different in London, in the sense that it's different anywhere, like any workplace. So because it's such an international city. So instead of talking about that, let's talk a little bit about the kind of fields that you can easily place in London. Like what are some of the most popular fields that you place in London?
Sure. So I guess students, when they think about London, they think about fashion, finance, and maybe theater. And we're lucky enough, we can place in all these fields. So definitely fashion, especially I'm thinking about fashion PR, fashion marketing. So PR and marketing are big fields here, and we have a lot of contacts in these two fields, and we're definitely we have no problems placing students. We have placements in finance, placements in accounting. Lately, I've received a few applications in accounting, which I'm really happy about because we can use our contacts. We have a lot of placements working with NGOs and charities. Anybody interested in those fields where we can do that, absolutely no problem. Lots of NGOs working with young people and supporting young people with different issues, for example, like it could be mental health problems or anything. I mean, we literally work with a lot. Some charities working that promote sports. Some charities that work with the LGBTQ community. Others focusing on the environmental issues. So there's a lot. Yeah. And I would also add graphic design. That's also a good field that we can absolutely place students. Business administration, HR, we can do, and obviously theaters that I mentioned at the beginning.
Right.
We can also place students. They're theater majors.
Absolutely, definitely, like the big, like one of the top places to go for theater, I would say. Yeah, I mean
the West End, we have it here, so yes.
I have never been to London, but I am a big theater nerd, so I would love to visit the West End.
Anna, you come. I'm here.
Yes,
come
exactly.
visit.
Yeah, maybe I'll definitely see you, but maybe I will see some of you in London at some point. So we got a question about scholarships, which I just like to address briefly, which I'm going to answer you privately. Thank you for asking that question. We do have, the short answer is we do have scholarships for interns, but I can talk to you about that privately. But along the subject of money, one of the big questions that we get is, are your internships paid? And I can answer that for you. Our internships are not paid. However, I think this is a really good question to start talking about why you, Anna, think that, what sort of value do you think that an international internship in specific can give someone who's just starting their career?
Sure. I feel sometimes students get a bit like, oh, the internships are unpaid, maybe I shouldn't do it, maybe what's the extra value of interning abroad? I could find a placement easily somewhere here in over there in the US.
Sure.
And I get it. The financial factor is something that everybody should consider. But at the same time, I feel like there is a huge added value to come over here and intern and work, because what you can do in your country won't be the exact same internship and work that you do here. Just to think about it, sometimes I use this example, like a student that wants to intern in PR, let's say. Obviously, you can find a placement in PR in the US, but it would never be working in PR, working with customers in the UK, working with customers in Europe, and learning on how to use social media the way we do it over here. So learning how we do things over here, and then bringing it back to the US and show a potential employer, listen, I can do this, I can work with social media, for example, in the US way. I don't know if there is a US way. Also, I learned a lot from my internship in London, and I have these things that I can do that I learned from them, and I could bring over here and do it for you and help you gain even more followers, for example. So it will make you stand out. No matter what you do, no matter what your major is, it will make you stand out.
Absolutely.
And then
Absolutely.
professionally, but obviously also personally. You cannot compete living in the US and trying to live abroad.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the other thing too is that, we're in such, the world is becoming so much more connected, so much more globalized, that having that international experience of professionalism, even though it's widely different across the world, but having that experience of trying to navigate a professional place that's not in your home country is really, really valuable. And the other thing too is that our internship programs are often a lot more cost effective than study. So if you really want to go abroad, but you're a little bit worrying about whether you're going to be able to have enough, internships are a really great way to do it. You can get credit for it if you need to. We have a lot of graduates, people who have recently graduated, with their bachelor's, who, go abroad with us. And that's a really great way to kickstart their career. And so leading into that, there was a question that we got earlier that asked about if it was possible to get a job with your internship post-graduation, or rather, has it happened before that people get job offers?
Oh, I love this question. Yes, actually. There was, it doesn't happen often, I must say. And you need to think about the fact that you need to be sponsored to work here. So that makes it even difficult for the companies to offer you a job. But yes, I remember there was a student that got offered the position. And I believe, if I remember well, she worked for a while from the US for the company here in the UK, because they were trying to sort of find a way to sponsor her. But one intern got definitely offered the position, and then there was I remembered another one a few years ago, talking to their supervisor. They were like, I would love to hire the person, but it's just so long in terms of paperwork and stuff. But so it happened.
It does happen for sure. And you make a really good point about the fact that, again, because we're so connected, you can sometimes work remotely, and if they have a branch in the US, you can still work for that company if it's a multinational company. It is a thing to consider about, visa, and it really is up to whether or not the company has a position open and that you are the best fit for that position, whether or not that happens. But again, as a postgraduate, you can definitely intern with us and still get really amazing experience. So there is that. Okay, great. So I think this just about wraps up our time. Unfortunately, I could honestly talk to you for a lot longer about what you do in London. But I just have one final question, which would be, if I'm interested in taking part in the London internship, what is the first step?
The first step will be to get in touch with our advising team in Northampton, and then they'll give you all the information that you need, and they'll help you navigate basically the application process, the applying for the program. So that will be the first step. And then you'll get to me.
Yes. And then Anna will be like, okay, I get my hands up.
It's time.
Yes. And I am one of the advisors in the advising center. So most likely you talk to me or Chris or Pat, who you've probably seen in other episodes of our Instagram Live. And we would just basically get you started, get your application started, set expectations with you for timeline, make sure we go over all the things about scholarships and that good stuff. I will be posting, once we share this video on our Instagram after we end, I'm also going to be posting links to, get started and apply, or to, get in touch with one of us. So you can certainly use those. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Anna. This was amazing. I'm really glad that we were able to talk today. And I look forward to seeing you on the West End sometime. Um,
Hopefully soon.
hopefully soon. It's true. I mean, we have a ton of summer programs coming up. So I will say goodbye for right now. And as for the rest of our audience, we hope to see you soon again on Instagram Live.
Thank you, everybody, and I hope you enjoyed the Instagram Live, and I really hope to see you in London very soon.
Mm-hmm.
Bye!
Bye!